FBI doesn't know where to find you now, but they will soon. Beginning in January and continuing over the next few years, the FBI will be setting up its Next Generation Identification, or NGI service, giving law enforcement an impressive new tool to track down criminals, or just keep tabs on all of us. This new NGI system will expand the FBI's current database, comprised mostly of fingerprints and mugshots, with new biometric identifiers, things like iris scans, palm prints, photos, and voice data. Also with the help of new facial recognition software that will be up and running in all 50 states within 3 years, finding just about anyone will be easier than ever for law enforcement. Currently, the FBI has over 70 million subjects, that's like people, in its master database, and more than 31 million sets of fingerprints. That's as many files as roughly 1/3 of the population and counting. So as much as we all like the idea of criminals being found quicker and easier, and I think most of us do, what does this new technology mean for the rest of us who aren't criminals? Could the FBI's new high-tech rollout be disastrous for individual privacy? To answer that question, Ginger McCall joins me now. She's the Open Government Council and IP-IOP Program Director at EPIC, the Electronic Privacy Information Center. Ginger, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Great having you with us. First off, what should people be worried about with this new NGI program?
It's very problematic from a privacy standpoint and a freedom of expression standpoint. As was mentioned in one of your earlier segments, there's a real chilling effect on freedom of expression when you feel like you're being constantly surveilled by the government.
Right. Well, but if people don't know, I mean, if they're discreet about it, is that chilling effect still there?
It's still very problematic because the way that this new database will be set up, it will allow for information to be input from state and local law enforcement. That information could be brought in from commercial sources. It could be brought in from covert surveillance. As we know, in the past, the FBI has had a bit of a problem putting in they've been putting in peaceful protesters and misclassifying them as terrorists. So
Yikes.
there are a lot of problems with these sorts of databases.
And if my understanding of this is right, if, for example, they're shooting Zuccotti Square like crazy right now, the NYPD, this ends up in that database. If you just happen to be walking through there on your way someplace, boom, you're in the database.
Yeah, you could be. And this is a particular problem in combination with...
Or for that matter, you shouldn't be in the database for being protesting legally in the first place. But
and that's the chilling effect on free expression.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know there are cameras all over now. If you look around you in D.C., any street corner you're standing on, you can probably spot at least 3 or 4 cameras from that corner. These surveillance cameras that covertly and sometimes openly observe people, surveil them, record them.
Right. One of the ways that historically, I mean, George Orwell really wrote this large in 1984, but it's nothing new. It's been going on since probably as long as humans have been around, and we saw it writ large in the Middle Ages, and we see it writ large now with countries like Burma, that countries oppress their people is by basically creating lots and lots of very small laws that criminalize things that people ordinarily do, like moving around, those kinds of things, jaywalking, and then build database on all the crimes that somebody's committed, and then once somebody steps over a political line, come down like a ton of bricks on them.
There's a very famous quote to that extent. I believe it was coming out of Russia many years ago. You find me the man, I'll find you the crime.
Yeah.
And there was a book written on this. Harvey Silverglade, I believe his name was, 3 felonies a day. And the theory is that for any of us out there trying to obey the law, still, every day we will have committed at least 3 felonies.
Felonies? Yikes.
And that's, you know, you find me the man, I'll find you the crime.
Right. So when the government has a database that includes basically all of us, and should our government drift in a direction, you know, if we had three more George Bushes in a row, in my opinion, I mean, this is my personal politics, you know, driving our country in a less civil libertarian direction, let's say,